Hey, everybody, welcome back. My name is Todd Ronan from Reality Forecast, and I'm joined with Liz Cross. Liz, hey, how are you?
Well, fantastic. Thank you.
I was looking through some old daguerreotypes, and those are a form of film that were taken in like the 1830s, 1840s, 1850s. And I came across this couple, and I don't know anything about them. I don't know what their names are, but I thought we could bring them in and listen to their story and have them explain what life was like in their time and what they're doing now. Is that something we could do?
Yeah. Yeah. I have them here. She hates him.
Are they related? Are they married? Are they arranged marriage?
Husband and wife.
Is that why they're sitting so far apart?
Yeah. He's a cheater.
Oh, so they're not really happy in their relationship, but what did they, why did they come to take this picture, and what was their life like?
Well, what was it was she says it was miserable. He was like, yeah, it was pretty miserable. And they've done this loads and loads of reincarnations, by the way. They always struggle to get along, but they always stay together. But he is a chronic cheater in many lifetimes, actually. What was your life like? I mean, it was very basic, very simple. They were saying to me they just tried to save money. I mean, they have nice clothes. Those were their best clothes that they had that they put on. But it was all about wealth building. And apparently their family now are billionaires.
Wow. Her
Yeah.
gown is beautiful. I'm just amazed by the little squiggles on the gown. So this was their own clothing that they're wearing. It wasn't there. I mean, people might look at this and think that it's a new old photo, but this is a literally very old photo. And this is a picture of them then. What country are they living in as billionaires together? And are they still upset with each other?
Yeah, they still don't get along. And I feel like they're in Saudi Arabia.
And what is their, why stay together as a couple and as a soul couple if you just hate that other person? What's the goal?
Well, lots of people will be shouting at the answer to that, Ronan. Now, so the overall goal is taking off the 3D Earth plane here, right? It brings about a lot of life lessons regarding, especially in this day and age, self-worth, opportunities, whether you're willing to have faith in yourself to move on from this relationship. And then sometimes people find themselves in relationships and for whatever, they get to a point where they're going to separate. I feel like this is this couple. And then something happens, something big happens that forces them back to stay together, like a trauma or a death in the family, something quite severe that forces them back in. So this is part of the soul contract by, living a life of misery and struggling to have that love from somebody else. It makes you, it can make or break you. Basically, you can either find that love within yourself and realize that everything is based upon self-love, or you can keep looking to the other person to try to feel fulfilled. Now, as we're seeing through these historical probes that we're doing, and thank you, Ronan, for all of these, is the fact that women especially did not have a lot of opportunity back then. And what is so interesting in the fact that they're now in, or they've reincarnated, or a future lifetime is going to be in Saudi Arabia. No, that's where the family, okay, they've passed on, that's where the family are, but they'll reincarnate through Saudi Arabia. Think about the oppression of women in that country. So she's still living under oppression. And that's one of her challenges. People that are born into like places like North Korea, third world countries, where, China, places of political oppression, that's a journey within itself. So not only do you have to find the self-love, but you have to deal with all of the oppression, all of the constraints. I think that's really neat about how we design our contracts in that way. And then some of us are in the free world, but as we see from these probes, the USA is actually going, and the West is headed into reverse. So this is fascinating to me.
Well, we thank them for their time. We thank them for sharing their story, and best of luck, y'all, in your next incarnation. I hope you can get along this time. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
I don't think they're ever going to get along.
Well,
Where's
sometimes that's the case, but what if you can't? What if you just have to keep growing, or do you have to develop another soul journey on the other side and say, it's just not going to work with you. I'm going to have to go and do this with someone else. Does that make your soul journey have to restart at a lower level?
No, that's a good question. I'm like, where's his hand? What is he holding on to? No, that's a good question. Sometimes when the other person can't move forward and we're ready to move forward, you may give them a few more chances and a few more lifetimes, but eventually you'll have to say, okay, that's not working. I need to ascend. I need to accelerate my ascension. And it can't be done with this person. So then we recycle that person in, they go back into, the field where they've got to find somebody at their ascension level, and we find somebody at our ascension level. And, thinking of people that may have been born into families, with all these ancestry DNA tests and all that, where they say, okay, I've taken the test, I found out my biological father isn't my father, right? Well, that's not the end of the world. It could be that for whatever reason, the universe knows that you needed the DNA from another person to ascend or to grow your consciousness, because for whatever reason the soul family, the person that you thought was your father was, the DNA, it was holding you back. So therefore, in your genetic makeup, because it's all about calculations, right? So in your
doesn't
genetic
talk about
makeup,
the reincarnation cycle either. So, your father could be your daughter from another mother in a different lifetime.
exactly.
So it's hard to say. That's what I think you're trying to push. How many incarnations of these?
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
You first, go ahead.
Well, just because, that person isn't your biological father doesn't mean that they're not your soul family. It's just that you needed that DNA from somebody else to push that ascension. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
These folks, how many incarnations as humans have they had together to try to make it work?
Hundreds.
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 Hey, well, they're going to make it next time. They're going to be billionaires, and hopefully on that path, they can make it work.
But it just goes to show that money hasn't solved their problem.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody. It's good seeing you again. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. Thank you.